on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Listening to the Larry O'Connor Show.
I'm using that as a promo. It's America's favorite Congresswoman, Cammack from Florida. And I love this. You're here spinning, but you actually haven't endorsed anybody, have you?
Absolutely. I am here representing all of the undecided voters in America today.
This is great. So, what do you think, undecided voter?
I think that the Republican Party showed that we have an incredible depth of talent that is willing and ready to get to work. That is amazing because in your...
So you're lining up behind President Asa? Is that what's happening here?
Don't you put words in my mouth now. Come on now. We just did that nice promo. No, I think when it comes down to it, Republicans across the country, independents across the country, heck, even Democrats who have seen their party go completely insane, they're looking for a home. And so tonight, for viewers that were tuning in, they got to see a lot of different approaches to how people would govern as president of the United States. I think that that is exactly what needed to happen. I think there's a lot of folks that are still supporting President Trump. I know President Trump and have great respect for him and all of the accomplishments that he has brought to the table. So there's so much more that we have to do in terms of taking our country back. And I think people feel the exact same way, and they got to see a little bit of that tonight.
In speaking with you over the last few weeks and knowing the committees you're sitting on, you are passionate about the investigations into this president and his family and the Justice Department. Yeah. Were you disappointed that that didn't come up enough tonight?
I was shocked that it didn't come up more because truly the two-tier justice system that is playing out in front of our eyes, it is real. You have a sitting president who is going after using the ABC agencies, the DOJ, the FBI, using agencies and federal resources to go after his top political opponent. That is unheard of. That is unprecedented. And that is so un-American. So for that not to come up more, I was a little bit surprised. I also was a little surprised that not every candidate was weighing in on some of the more controversial issues. I thought that the American people really deserve to hear where every candidate truly is at. But I think it was a good first start. And there's many more to come. So we'll see where things come from there.
I was happy personally as a Republican to see a very dynamic discussion about where we stand in the world, our foreign policy, what our responsibilities are to Ukraine. And I don't think it's an easy issue. That's not a one answer kind of problem. But how do you think that played out? Because it started to get messy, you know?
It did. But think about this. We are living in a time where people are getting the majority of their news off of social media, right? And the social media bias is real. Conservatives are being censored. You have people who are completely unvetted talking about issues. One day they're an MD, the next day they're a constitutional lawyer, the next day they're weighing in on all these crazy subjects. And that's all well and good. But there are people, and I think Nikki Haley, for example, she really showed her foreign policy chops in the room tonight. Now, I agreed with Vic as someone who doesn't support billions of dollars going to Ukraine when we have an open border. I agreed with his position in that, hey, listen, we've got a lot of domestic problems here. We need to be focused. But I thought it was very, very good talking about the connection between China and Russia and that growing alliance, and that presents real challenges to us in the geopolitical sphere. So that is something that Americans are really, I think, far removed from. And that's something that really needs to be discussed because as commander-in-chief, you're going to be making decisions that have wide-spanning implications beyond just our borders.
You're a congresswoman from Florida.
Yeah.
Your governor is running.
Yes.
Donald Trump lives in Florida. How's the pressure been on you to get you to endorse one of them?
Listen, I know that pressure, it creates diamonds. So I will be one big shiny diamond at the end of this.
Well, let me ask you about your governor, because I think he had a very effective strategy tonight. As a lot of this noise was going on and the issue came up, when it finally got to him, he said, yeah, I've had that problem in Florida. I fixed it. Here's what I did, and I'll do it for the country. That's a strong message.
Absolutely. When you're the governor of the third most populous state in the union, you're going to come across issues that not everyone does, right? He talked about having an emergency disaster relief position, you know, in stark contrast to Joe Biden, who was on the beach sipping Mai Tais while Maui was burning down. You know, our heart breaks for them, and certainly as a disaster-prone state in Florida, we are always on the ready for that next disaster. He talked about that. He talked at length about education and the stark difference between Republicans and Democrats and how we promote school choice. I think it is undeniable the record that Ron DeSantis has when it comes to being a leader in the free sunshine state. But it's also, you know, of course, interesting that we have President Donald Trump, who is a Floridian, and I love that because when you look at his accomplishments, you think about the Abraham Accords, you think about the military that he rebuilt, you think about his tough stance when it came to the border. These are all huge accomplishments that we need to continue to build on. So I'm just lucky that I get to call Florida home, and that knowing that hopefully we get a great president, hopefully hailing from the.
Well, that's it. Oh, well, that boils it down to two. Who's the third one?
Mayor Suarez is still in the race.
Oh, sorry. He wasn't.
And don't all these people have vacation homes in Florida, too?
He wasn't here. That's true. That's true. All right. I don't know about Chris Christie. He's got his own beach to sit on. Last question. And this is really, you just sort of hit on it. The goal tonight was to say, here's why you should pick me instead of Donald Trump. And this was their chance to do it without Trump in the room. Did anybody make that case, really?
I think it's too early to tell. You know, I mean, with that many people on the stage, you had 8 candidates on the stage vying for that shining moment in 30-second sound bites. Until we actually have a situation where there is a narrower field with Donald Trump on the stage, really duking it out, and that's where Trump shines, is in that elbows out, toe-to-toe type of engagement. That's when I think you're going to really start to see the separation occur. Right now, it's still too early, but I do think that there were some shining moments for people in tonight's debate.
Thank you for your time. I don't get to see you in D.C. I don't get to see you in Florida, and here I see you in Milwaukee. Milwaukee!
I know. Are you going to get a cheesehead?
That's really kind of a personal question. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Cammack.